What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode on mods and fixes. Today we are going to do some upgrades to this 2000 Honda Civic, and I'm going to be showing you what I do to flip Hondas for a little bit of extra money. So you won't get rich off of it, but you'll make some extra money. So, depending on what your mechanic skills sit at, you can buy a car depending on how bad it is. By what that I mean, like, does it have motor issues? So this one I bought it for $1,800. It has a check engine light on. It has 150,000 miles. It's manual. It has the nice little wannabe SI wing. It has the 50/50 tail lights already. It has some new headlights already. It has the bumper that I can work with, which are the ones that they normally use from 99 to 2000. So I can go ahead and put the OEM SI fog lights, which I have, which, as you can see, I got a bunch of boxes in the front seat with parts that I received for this car. Okay, so I bought it for $1,800. The guy posted it for, I want to say, $22 or $2,100, and I was able to talk him down to 18, just because of the check engine light. So, and before I buy the car, I do my research. I make sure that's one of the cars that people are looking for right now, and I make sure that I get it cheap enough to where I can make some good money on, you know. The interior is pretty clean. I just it's a little dirty. I just need to clean it. Not as in that I mean it's not like messed up in there. I do have to replace the driver's seat belt. That is, it has some chewing marks in it. Other than just having scratches around the car, little dents here and there, which are pretty typical. But this one has with the crack in the bumper. If I can find a bumper, I'll do it. If not, then I think what I'll do is probably drill a hole at the end of the crack, which will prevent the crack from spreading. And that goes same with metal. If you drill a hole at the end of the crack, it won't crack anymore from there. But if I can't find a bumper, I'll just stitch it with zip ties, like what drifters do, because they're always, breaking their bumpers and stuff like that. I'm gonna have to realign the bumper if I can't find another bumper. I need to put whole new flooring in the trunk. Like I was saying, the interior is pretty clean. It's just a little messy. Nothing really, parts missing. I'm gonna go find that piece right there. I already have the replacement seat belt. I don't know, I can't speak today. And then the seats are in good condition. So, and then the that stereo's coming out. As you guys can see, someone didn't put it in properly. It's kind of crooked. So I'm gonna take that out, put it in a different stereo, a single den, and go from there. So, and then I need to replace the trim around the window. I'm gonna call my regular guy, see what he says, how much it costs to just put in this, or if I go to the junkyard, just find this and glue it on myself. We'll see. But on a typical Honda, when I go searching for a Honda, I make sure that it's in my price range. I make sure that it's a good title. I make sure that it's under 170,000 miles. I make sure that the car does not smoke at all, whether it's blue, black, or white. Make sure it doesn't smoke at all. And make sure that it doesn't leak. This is not a leak. This is a leak from the basketball hoop. I had to move it out of my way. The neighborhood kids ended up putting it right next to my garage for some reason. So once I check off my checklist, I find a car, I'll buy it, right? So what I do to flip these cars to make them look good and make a little bit of extra cash, what I'll normally do is I'll buy the 50/50 taillights. If I have to, I'll replace the headlights, but if they're not that bad, then I'll just wet sand them and buff them. If I have to, I'll buy some good looking used tires, but these tires are in great shape. I'll buy a short ram cold air intake. I'll buy the front and rear strut bars. And then what else? I'll buy the new stereo. I always get a new stereo no matter what is already in it. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I do for when I'm flipping a Honda. Because for the parts that I put in it, believe it or not, a lot of people that buy these Hondas from me, usually they're going into the Honda game, or it's a kid's first car, which is pretty cool. So, but believe it or not, this is the first manual car that I buy to flip. Okay, it's not my first stick shift car myself. I've had a couple, but this is my first stick shift car that I buy to flip. So hopefully I get some good bites for this car to sell it. Hopefully. Okay, and one other thing that this car came is with this little aftermarket grill. So let's see under the hood real quick. Nice stock engine. I had to put a battery in last fall, or I should say last summer. So somebody put some new spark plug wires. Hopefully they did the spark plugs. So it has a VTEC. As you guys can see, it's leaking, so I'm gonna buy a gasket for that. VTEC gasket. I forgot what VTEC stands for. Variable timing valve something. So AC works. That's another thing that I forgot to mention. I'll make sure that the car has AC and that it works, because that's what everybody wants here in Oregon. Because, well, when summer comes by, us Oregonians, we hate summers, hot summers. So I went ahead, pulled my parts out of the car, and I have them laid out over here. Excuse my mess here. This is my hydraulic setup for my truck. So the parts that I have here, I got them laid out kind of. I got the new stereo, the installation kit right here. I'm going to use hopefully the car has a harness adapter in there already, since it has an aftermarket stereo. So hopefully they did it right, so I don't need any more stuff to install this stereo. I got the short ram intake here. It's the eBay one, so it's cheaper. A little breather, because I'm not going to hook up the PVC valve to the short ram. I'm going to keep it off of it, so I'm going to block it off with this as well. Putting this on the valve cover. Got the hardware, got the strut braces, and here I got the OEM EM1 fog lights that are completely plug and play. So once I install that in the car, it looks like it's completely factory, because it has everything. It literally hooks up to every plug in the car that already exists in the car, which you guys will see. But I'm not going to go into detail about it because I made a video on it. So look down in the description below and you'll see a link to how to install those fog lights. So let me see what I want to do first. I think I'm gonna go ahead and install the intake and the front strut bar first, which is pretty easy. So let me do something real quick and we'll be right back. So in this first part video on how to flip a Honda, all we're going to do is we're going to install the front strut bar and the short ram intake. And what you need to do, the job is you'll need a 732 and wrench or a socket. You'll need a 10 millimeter and a 14 millimeter socket, and then some pliers. You probably don't need the extension, but it's always helpful with the 3/8 drive. So with the 14 millimeter socket, you're gonna need to undo these bolts for the struts. You don't need to lift the car up or anything, just undo them and take them off. As so, I already loosened them up. Okay. And with the 10 millimeter socket, you're going to undo these for the air intake box. Hang on to this bolt right here, but we'll put them both right there. And then with the 732 socket, you're going to undo that right there from the intake, from the throttle body, whatever you want to call it. You can undo that right there. So that's already loose. Next is you're gonna disconnect this little sensor right here, the one that's right here, this one. So I'll undo it. Let's see. There we go. Undid it. And then with the pliers, you're gonna undo this clamp. This clamp right here. Was pretty much anything that's connected to this little part right here, and it's also connected into the intake right there. So pull it out of the intake. Try not to lose all your clamps because you might need them. Got one. Pull out from right here, from the valve cover. Got it. So I already went ahead and took off the clamps for the other part that this thing's connected to. So also we're gonna take the little wire harness that's connected to this off of it, which we'll do here in a little bit. So take that off because we're gonna completely get rid of this. And let's see if I can see pretty good. So what we're gonna pretty much do is this tube right here. To delete this, we're gonna run this tube straight to the hose right there. Okay, just pay attention because this, the other part of the hose of this little piece is right there, runs right there. So we're just gonna bend that tube right there. If you have to, just go to the auto parts store, get long enough hose, and put it right there. That's all you need to do. All right, so let me remove this real quick since we already loosened up everything and disconnected what we had to. So let me be right back. So I already took off the old air intake, sitting over there. I went ahead and just test fit the strut bar on real quick. Did that, so I'm gonna take that off real quick so we can do the intake without anything being in the way, and then we'll be able to do the delete much easier without the strut bar there. So just give me a couple minutes and then I'll show you what we do next. So I took off that little part that was in between the intake and the valve cover right here. I don't know why they do that, but that one hose I told you have to reroute it. It's that simple hose right here underneath the throttle into right there. I don't know why they didn't just do it that way from the beginning at the factory. I don't know, but that's what you want to do, is connect it right there. Since the VTEC is leaking right now, is the best time to go ahead and replace the gaskets, which I went ahead and picked up real quick right there. So what I'm gonna do is disconnect this clip right here, disconnect this one right here, and what I'm gonna do first is unscrew the top of the VTEC solenoid with these three 10mm right here. Undo those, and then I'm gonna do undo three right here. 1, 2, and 3 right there. Undo those and swap those out real quick. Super simple. I don't think I have to go into detail about how to change that, but let me change that, get that out of the way, and clean up the mess, and we'll be right back. So I went ahead, swap out the gaskets, that one right there, and the one in between the top and the second part right here. So I went ahead, just hand tighten those three 10mm bolts right there back on. I cleaned it up. So what I'm gonna do real quick is clean up in that area, and might as well clean the rest, and then I'll be able to put that VTEC solenoid back on, and then I'm gonna start putting in the little short ram intake, and we'll go on from there. So real quick, you need to take out this little air sensor out of the stock intake and put it right there on that rubber boot on the new intake. So what I did so far is I put on that the little filter on the valve cover for the PCV valve, and then I also put that little rubber plug to delete. That one hose that was in between that we removed, plug back the harness, the other one as well on the throttle body, and reconnected the hose that was underneath that part that we removed. And now we are done. Tighten up the strut bolt right there, and that right there, there's nuts and bolts, and then tighten up the 14mm bolts on the strut bars. Put the filter on. The short ram intake did come with some hardware that would bolt up right there where I said to keep the stock bolt, but we don't need it because it's pretty stiff. I went ahead and cleaned up the whole engine bay with some purple spray cleaner, degreaser. Sprayed it down with some low pressure water hose everywhere. That stuff right there that you can buy at any auto parts store. I just try to avoid all the electrical connections and the alternator, but it looks pretty good. You know, I got some water on the intake, so I got that, you know, paper towel cleaning it up. So yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good the way it is right now. Next week I'll be putting in this rear strut bar and stereo, and we'll see what we'll do from there. Well, I think that's it for today. I'll probably catch you guys next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.